Valentine's Day massacre for Roger back in February of '08. Time to mix sports and the law. We bring Steve Moskowitz in as we always do on Thursday, and we invited the founder of Balco, Victor Conti, as well. Welcome, gentlemen. I'll start with you, Mr. Moskowitz. From the legal standpoint, how much trouble is Roger Clemens in tonight?
These are serious charges, but I'm sure he's going to have a top-flight legal team, and the first thing they're going to do is employ experts and say, you know those DNA samples that you have on the syringes and the gauze? No good. It was contaminated. There's all types of things wrong with it, and then what a lawyer does is very important. It's called excluding it from evidence. If it's excluded from evidence, the finder of fact, the jury, can't use it. That's the first thing they're going to do. Then we also take a look at the testimony against them. Look at what the witness was offered by the government. What's going on here? Is this testimony credible? They have an awful lot of grounds to attack.
The maximum sentence in this case, Steve, could be 30 years in prison, a fine of $1.5 million. Most people think it's more likely he'll get 15 to 21 months. Is there any way he avoids jail time by just writing a check in this matter?
No, this is a criminal case where the government is looking to make an example. And the federal prosecutor was talking about what this is called now is the Martha Stewart crime. The government complains that people lied to him all the time. They nailed Martha Stewart. She did 5 months in the federal prison. And they're looking to say, if you lie to him, here's what's going to happen to you. And that is the big point of this. This is not about money. This is about punishing somebody and making him serve as an example.
Victor, this is the 7-time Cy Young Award winner, one of the greatest pitchers in the history of baseball. Of course, Barry Bonds, the 7-time most valuable player, the only guy to win the MVP 7 times in baseball, faced a similar situation, indicted. He's going to face trial coming up at last in the month of March. A lot of people are drawing comparisons, but the physical evidence in this Clemens case that Brian McNamee has, and the fact that he is an eyewitness where Greg Anderson is the complete opposite of the Bonds cases, makes the two trials very different, does it not?
I disagree with Steve in that I believe the case against Roger is much stronger than it is against Barry. They've got a guy that, you know, they can attack his credibility, but he is claiming that he injected him 16 times over the period, you know, in the late 1990s and early 2000 time frame. And they don't have that type of evidence against Barry. The statements that I've made publicly have to do with now that the indictment has come down, they have turned up the heat, and I can tell you from personal experience, they raided Balco September 3rd, 2003. I was indicted February 12, 2004. So 6 months later, it was a completely different scenario once the indictment came down. I couldn't go home. I had to stay at a hotel for 2 weeks because there was news trucks with satellite dishes up in front of my house, and the police advised me just to go stay somewhere else. I believe that now, from this point forward, in terms of the effect upon not only Roger but his entire family, he's entered a stage that I would describe as a living hell.
Hey, Steve, how does Rusty Hardin, Roger's attorney here, defend the physical evidence in this trial?
He's going to attack it. First thing is with the experts. Also, something called chain of custody. What chain of custody is all about is what happened from the evidence that's in the prosecutor's hand now and where did he get it? Is there contamination? There could be physical contamination. Somebody could switch things. There's all types of things. First thing is you're going to attack the evidence. You're going to attack the credibility of the witnesses. And then what you're going to try to do is you're going to try to go ahead and throw the case out. And I agree with Victor in that, yes, you have somebody testifying against him, but that happens all the time in trial. People testify against each other. It's the credibility of the witness. And here you're taking a look and saying, well, okay, what did they offer him? They offered him immunity from his own crimes. That's a very, very potent motivation, which could also really cause someone to want to lie.
How about just the common sensibility, Steve and Victor, that why would Roger Clemens do this? He did not have to do this. He responded to what was written in the Mitchell report. He's the one that lobbied for the hearing on Capitol Hill, Steve. I mean, he's the one who put himself out there, and now he faces jail time. I mean, why would he do all this if he's not telling the truth?
My guess, unchecked ego. Sometimes you have somebody that just won't listen to reason. They're going to tell their story. They're going to say, you know what, look, I'm going to tell you so loudly that you're going to believe me. And here, he really made a big deal out of this, demanded to go to the Congress, vehemently denied the charges. He made a big deal out of it, and it came back, and it boomeranged. It backfired on him, and now he's paying a price for it.
Victor, do you know Roger Clemens at all?
No, I do not.
All right. In my opinion, this is a direct result of what happened to Barry Bonds. The book, The Game of Shadows, came out in April of 2006. I was with the commissioner of baseball, interviewed him on national TV about what he was going to do. He didn't have a clue what he was going to do. Shortly after that, he commissioned Senator Mitchell to fact find, and he came up with this. And now they're going to drag down, or attempt to drag down, the greatest pitcher of my lifetime, one of the greatest pitchers of all time. What is your opinion of the Mitchell report? I assume you've read it, Victor. And what did baseball gain from the commissioner of baseball pointing a finger at a 7-time Cy Young Award winner?
You know, I don't have an answer to that question. I've never understood the end game of any of this. They've spent lots of money, lots of time. There's been lots of headlines. But has there been any actual change? I don't think there has. I don't think there's a genuine interest there by baseball. You look at the changes that they've made since they established the drug testing policy. The off-season is when the athletes use the drugs. They could test up to 31% or 375 players. But if you look at the actual data, they're only testing 50 to 60 players. Why? I don't think they want to find people using drugs. I don't think there's a real genuine interest there. I think this is all about publicity.
Victor Conte, Belco founder, thank you for your time. Steve Moskowitz, I love your shirt and tie combination.
Yours is very nice,
You
too.
look very sharp. Thank you, guys.
As I was saying.
All right, Roger Clemens was tweeting today, I never took HGH or steroids.